You won $10 million, but you can't spend the money because you're emotional. I mean, because you're spending the rest of your life in prison. But if you would have heard today's OC report, you still be free to spend the money the good Lord blessed you with. Hello, world. My name is Akish Aklord Mullins, and this is the Yak Report. But before we get started with today's show, I'm going to need all of you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and tap that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time that I release a new video. And while you're at it, don't forget to share this video with your family and friends because there's a lesson in every story, and together we'll figure this thing called life out. Headlines across the metaverse: North Carolina man won $10 million and sentenced to life in prison for killing his girlfriend. See, Michael Todd Hill won $10 million back in 2017, but before Mr. Hill had received his blessing, he was married to this woman. And somewhere between this picture and this report, Mr. Hill's relationship seemed to go, well, downhill. So, sometime after winning, I guess Mr. Hill and his wife split, or he got paid and wanted an upgrade. I don't know. Don't quote me. But however it happened, Mr. Hill met and began dating Keonna Graham, a 23-year-old CO. The report states that Michael Todd Hill, 54, of Leland, was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in the 2020 fatal shooting of his girlfriend, 23-year-old Keonna Graham of Navassa. Graham was reported missing on July 20th, 2020. She was later found dead in a hotel with a gunshot wound to the back of the head. In a statement from the 15th Prosecutorial District of North Carolina, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this happened in North Carolina, not Georgia. Prosecutors said surveillance footage from the hotel showed Mr. Hill was the only person in the room with Graham. They said Hill later confessed to shooting Graham after she had been texting with other men while at the hotel. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm finding this story hard to understand because Mr. Hill won. Well, let's really start at the beginning with this. Mr. Hill was, I guess it looks like, I'm assuming, in her eyes, they were happily married, and he was not happy because after he won $10 million back in 2017, he was married. Sometime after that, he went and met Keonna. They got together, and that relationship wasn't happy. But, ladies and gentlemen, here is where I have the problem, and here is what I'm going to point out. Mr. Hill, like I said, was married before Keonna. That means that Mr. Hill left his marriage and then got in his relationship with Keonna. He left his wife. Mr. Hill left his wife and got with Keonna. But if he could leave his wife, why couldn't he just leave Keonna? What was it about Keonna that Mr. Hill just could not let go? And I know why. It's because he chose to leave his wife, but he wasn't ready to let Keonna walk out that door. The whole thing about this is, like I said, he chose to leave his wife, but he wasn't ready to let Keonna walk out the door. Or should I say, he was just selfish. And that's the problem with a lot of people today because a lot of people are out here are just selfish. And that, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why we have the issues that we have today is because we are the problem, not the person that we're with. We would like to believe that the other people are the issue when we're in a relationship or any kind of relationship, but that is not the fact. The fact is we're the problem. And what I mean when I say that we're the problem is because people only do what we allow them to do to us. We are the masters and the creators of our heaven and hell here on earth. And instead of trusting what's within us, telling us to run, cut them off, move, we ignore the signs. That first thought is our true thought, but we'll push that first thought aside and then allow and let in our ego to control our emotions and our thoughts. But the first thought told you to run, cut them off, move on. Your ego told you to stop, hold on, fight, don't let go, do what you have to do, murder. And the sad part about it, we spend more time focused on exposing the flaws in others instead of using that same energy to work on improving ourselves. For instance, if I would have put the same amount of energy into me and what it was that I wanted to do with my life, I would be much further than I am now. But when you're busy focused on and worrying about making sure everybody else is okay, everybody else is fine, looking out and helping everyone else, you start to put yourself on the back burner. You start to put everyone else first. And after a while, it can start to weigh on you. And there was points in my life that I can see that things was wrong, something was wrong, that I should have cut things off and then things moved on myself. But why didn't I? Well, that was because of me. I was the problem. It's no one else. I can't blame no one else for what it is that happened with me in any relationship that I was in. Because at the end of the day, if they did something that was wrong the first time and I accepted it, I forgave them, and then they did it the second time, and I forgave them. And the third time, I forgave them. But by that fifth time, well, way before the fifth time, but by the fifth time, you've already taught them that they can do whatever they want to do to you. You're going to forgive them, let them back in. And when they do it again, you're going to forgive them, let them back in. And when they do it again, you're going to forgive them and let them back in. When are you going to get off of that roller coaster? Not them, because they're only going to do what you allow them to do. They already showed you that they didn't care. They already showed you that they didn't want to be there. If Mr. Hill walked into that hotel room or however he discovered this young woman was texting someone on $10 million, you left your wife. Kill this 23-year-old woman. Why? The same way you got her, you got the next one. But ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say there's the problem. We're the problem. There is something within us that we need to fix. Because for some reason, we keep letting society and the media dictate to us what our happiness is. See, Mr. Hill couldn't realize that you was already in a happy situation. You had $10 million, enough money to fix whatever was going on with you and your wife. If you wanted her to lose a little bit of weight, you both could have went, hired a personal trainer, lost weight together, grew together in this next journey of your life. But you didn't want to do that. You left your wife for a younger woman that you felt was an upgrade, that you felt was better. But I can tell you, Mr. Hill, your wife was the lucky one, because if your marriage didn't work and down this relationship didn't work, what's the common denominator? It's not the women, it's the man. What is it within the man that needs to be fixed? What is it within you that is bothering you that needs to be fixed? Because until we fix what is within us that is bothering us, making us feel that we are not enough ourselves, until we figure that out, nothing is going to change. Things like this is going to continue to happen. Men and women cheat because they're not happy. And it's not the fact that they're not happy with the person that they're with, it's that they're not happy with themselves. That's why you hear the stories about women who say, oh, well, I was with this man for all these years and he ain't did nothing but sit on the couch. He ain't work. I took care of him. I fed him. I cleaned him. I did yada, 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 yada. And the moment I break up with him, he get with somebody else and he do everything that I wanted him to do. But ladies, you've answered that question already. The reason why he did all of that with you and you went through all that hell with you, it wasn't him. It was you. I'm not saying that what he did was right and he had the right to do that or treat you like that. That's not what I'm saying. He's an individual. He can do what he wants to do. People are going to do what they want to do. We can't control them. We can control us. And when I say that we can control us to the point where if someone is hurting you, you can walk away. You don't have to allow them to do that. He sat on that couch because you allowed him to sit on that couch. He sat on that couch and didn't get a job and played the game and drove your car while you went to work or cheated on you and everything else is because you let him do it. You let him sit on the couch, let him eat your food, you let him sleep in your bed, you let him live off you for free, you let him drive your car to go pick up his other girl that he really want to be with. You let him do all of this too. And the same goes for these men out here who like to cry and say that these women are gold diggers and yada yada yada, everything else under the sun that you want to say about what's wrong about a female. And I'm going to tell you this: it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. It is the same. It's just that the circumstances may be different in how things go. See, if the woman was just like the man who was at home all day, not doing anything, yada, 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 it would be acceptable, looked at differently because, okay, it's a female. That's society. That's how life is. Who cares? Get over it. We know how it works. But the problem is, fellas, the way you get them is the way you keep them. You can't call her gold digger if you caught her by dangling gold. If what attracted her to you was that gold, you can't call her a gold digger because you already knew that potentially this is all that she wants. Am I saying this is all the time? No. There may be that one you never know, because again, fellas, the same way when we get a little change or anything like that, like we want the best. We want to date the best women. We want to have the most beautiful woman in the world. And we know how to get. Some have to work a little bit harder than others. Ladies, when you allow a man to do all of these things to you and then he leaves, if you don't recognize what it was that you did and allowed him to do when he walked out and you let that next one walk in, all you're doing is just repeating the process. And then that's when I say again, who is the problem? Is it them or is it you? If you met this man and you wanted a relationship, but the only thing that you can get out of him is hard dick and bubblegum, and you keep accepting that hard dick and bubblegum, well, what kind of relationship do you think you're gonna have? He already knows that he can have it whenever he wants, so why would he want to make it official, put a ring on, or do anything like that? Why? You never gave him a reason to want to do these things. The same thing goes for her. If you start out the door paying for everything, giving up everything, and you don't have a direct goal in what you want to do, if you just want to have sex or you want to have a relationship. Most women want the relationship, but they'll settle for the trinkets. Most men want the sex, and they'll pretend to want the relationship. We have to start recognizing the difference between the two, and we also have to fix what is broken within us that keep attracting these people that we are teaching to continue to hurt us. It's time to stop teaching people to hurt us and start teaching people to love us. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm Akeisha Aquiled Mullins, and this is The Ocracy.